Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 103 of the Sim Racing Show. And this week, Fanatec might have just dropped their We're Back product, but also might have just leaked what's coming next. So did Fanatec just accidentally reveal their next big move? We'll break it down in just a second. Meanwhile, Assetto Corsa Rally is bringing proper 90s rally icons back to life. Project Motor Racing has just had one of the most interesting content packs in sim racing, and it vanished overnight. Gran Turismo 7 dropped an update, but doesn't actually move the game forward. Asetek made a move that could seriously shake up pricing across the entire sim racing hardware market. We'll have to wait for a Rennsport update a bit longer. There's loads more, and just in, the THRUSTMASTER Raceline load cell pedal should be back in stock now, so go check out link description if you want to see that. Now, Fanatec have just released a brand new wheel. This is a ClubSport Formula V3, and it's basically the latest evolution of the Formula wheel line that's been iterated on since 2012. And the big upgrades are not always obvious straight away because it's 290mm, so it doesn't feel as cramped. I thought the previous wheel was very cramped. It has a black and white OLED display built in, but like I said, it's not color. It ships with a QR2 pre-installed, which is exactly how it should be in 2026. And the pricing is arguably the real headline because it's $349, which seems like a very sensible price to me. It's not a revolutionary product. It's not the wheel with the big color screen that everyone's hoping to see from Fanatec, but it's a very sensible product in Fanatec's ecosystem, and I think it's an upgrade on what came before. Now, I want to let you know about a couple of caveats that exist because it is Fanatec. The firmware and app setup can be a pain. The screen relies on the sim telemetry behaving, on software behaving, and there's no USB standalone option, so you're staying in the Fanatec ecosystem. But like I said, on paper, it's one of Fanatec's most interesting and arguably competitive price wheels in a long time. And that wasn't it from Fanatec, because at the end of their own announcement video, they also basically hinted a new product that it looks like they're already working on, which feels like a little bit of a leak about what's coming next. And the speculations are that this could be, well, to me, it looks like some form of wheel. So I'll put the images on screen here. Let me know, what do you think Fanatec have teased at the end there? Could it be a new wheel? Could it be a new base? Could it be like a screen upgrade or something? Or something completely different? Let me know. Now, while we're on updates, Assetto Corsa Rally has just locked in a very tasty version 0.4 lineup because the next update is bringing, as we teased, a proper 90s rally icon into the mix. The Peugeot 3062 Maxi kit car has been confirmed. Now, it's not just another Peugeot. This is a front-wheel drive troublemaker that went out in the late 90s and still managed to grab podiums even when it was up against a full-fat four-drive WRC machinery. Now, as a Peugeot factory driver myself, yes, I drive my Peugeot on tracks in real life now. I'm really excited for this, and it is one of the cars that Assetto Corsa Rally should be adding to get people really enthused and interested in rally driving, because to be honest, the current state of WRC is not fantastic. A lot of people are nostalgic for these different eras of rally, and I think Assetto Corsa Rally has got it exactly right, aiming for that. Now, the second car is also confirmed. It's the Group A Subaru Impreza, the proper Colin McRae era icon, and that's joining the 306 in the same build, and version 0.4 is locked in for 30th of April. Now, on top of the cars, they're adding wintry weather that you can sample in Wales and Alsace. That should add a bit more variety, and they've also said that WRC driver John Armstrong is now involved helping to shape the game's physics and handling. Plus, there's more controller improvements, and they're expecting Fanatec Full Force and Logitech True Force support in the mix as well. Kunos and Supernova are clearly hoping that energy translates into version 0.4, and if they nail the feel, this could be the start of a good feel-good movement for Assetto Corsa Rally. Also, the FIA, that FIA has just launched a global Assetto Corsa Rally esports competition with online qualifiers running from May 12th to May 25th, split across 6 regions. The big headline, by the way, is the end game. It all funnels into a live side-by-side final at the FIA awards ceremony in Shanghai on December 12, 2026. And now to that suspicious news, because Project Motor Racing did have one of the most interesting content drops in modern sim racing, and now it's been pulled. This was a Japanese GT500 pack. This is the one that brought Super GT content into Project Motor Racing, but it was delisted last week, which is a pretty huge moment considering how rare, and I think this is all connected, officially licensed Super GT content is in this space. And it's not like it was a small pack either. 9 cars, 2 eras, basically covering modern GT500 alongside the proper throwback JGTC nostalgia, and the track Okayama, which they called Takemiya. And when it landed, it genuinely felt like a win for sim racing, because Super GT is a massive category that most sims just don't touch officially, but it's been removed just as quickly, and that normally points to something messy behind the scenes, licensing, approvals, rights, something along those lines, because content like that doesn't just disappear for fun. And unfortunately for Project Motor Racing, it's just embarrassing. They can't really afford more embarrassing moments like this, otherwise they're just going to become a farce in sim racing. So let me know what your take on this is in the comments. What do you think actually happened here? Now to another sim that also has a Japanese connection, because Gran Turismo 7 is doing what it does best, a completely random car trio and one ridiculous detail that was hidden in the background. But before that, I want to say a big thanks to today's sponsor, GT Omega. Been using GT Omega rigs and seats for years and years and years now. I'm sitting on one right now, so if you're looking for a new rig, or maybe you're looking to upgrade from racing on your table to actually getting a cockpit, go check out gtomega.co.uk and use my discount code Kireth5 at checkout for an extra 5% off. If you're new to sim racing or you're starting the beginning end, I would recommend checking out the GT Omega Prime Lite, which is actually the rig I have here, holding a SIMUCUBE 2 Pro. Now, GT7's April update dropped last week, and it's a usual polyphony formula: 3 cars, some extra events, and then one completely unhinged detail hidden in the engine swap. So car-wise, the lineup is just all over the place. Porsche 911 Turbo S, the 964, Renault Twingo, and the Yangwang U9, which is kind of like, this is the DNA of Gran Turismo 7, German legend, French meme car, and then a futuristic Hyper EV that is like, it's genuinely futuristic. And they've also added more events and circuit experiences to go with it, so there's a little bit more to this as well. But the thing everyone's going to talk about is the swaps. 10 new ones are in, and yes, one of them is a McLaren F1 engine going into a Lexus LFA, which sounds hilarious and sounds like we should all do it, until you realise it will cost you over 10 million credits, which means it's less fun experiment and more endgame flex for people with serious GT money, which is not me. Now be honest, are you actually going to spend 10 million credits on that swap, or is this purely YouTube bait for YouTubers like me to do it and make content on it? Now, if you thought GT updates were slow, Rennsport fans are about to feel that one in the bones, because Competition Company have pushed the first update of the year back to May, and the first DLC is now landing alongside it, which is starting to feel like the studio is trying to bundle everything they're doing into one bigger, arguably cleaner, relaunch style drop. And in the background, you still got the Nacon situation hanging over the console plans, with Nacon filing for insolvency earlier this year. That's a forward-looking statement. Rennsport has basically been forced into the self-publishing route for consoles, which is a massive shift behind the scenes. And the frustrating part is that the DLC does look like what Rennsport actually needs. It's called Endurance Classic Part 1. It's got the Porsche 911 GT1, Mercedes CLK LM, Peugeot 9X8, Group C Porsche 956, and Le Mans. It's not small content, that's proper focused content. I've driven it. I went out to Germany months ago and I drove it and I had some good fun with it. I did an esports race and everything, and I think it's just good content for players on Rennsport already, and it's something that might revitalise Rennsport a little bit, but it's just being delayed. So it's another test of patience for anyone still watching Rennsport closely. If you're interested in Rennsport, curious about Rennsport, go watch my video where I interviewed the co-founder of Rennsport. It's on my channel. It covers everything. All of the questions that you've been asking me over the years, I put to them and they tried to answer them. Okay, time for a quick palate cleanser, because this one is a smaller game, but it's got serious vibes and it's quietly building a fan base, because Super Woden GP3 is officially in development. Developer VJuda has quietly built a really strong little niche with these isometric races, 2 main games already, and the rally offshoot this year, Super Woden Rally Edge, which a lot of people rate as the best one yet. The whole identity is retro visuals, that classic kind of like swinging camera feel, and the cars that look like they've escaped a late 90s or early 2000s racing game menu, but you actually drive them. And the interesting claim this time is a handling target. VJuda is aiming for something in the Gran Turismo 2 lane, which is a bold goal, because for anyone who remembers Gran Turismo 2, it had that kind of balance between being accessible but also to be truly satisfying was harder than you thought it might be. Now, would you play a GT2 handling inspired arcade racer in 2026, or are you only interested if it's full sim physics? And speaking of racing games turning into real racing, this next story is one of the coolest current sim to track updates that we've had in a while, and it still feels a bit surreal if you followed esports for a while, because Coanda's Josh Rogers has now made his car racing debut, and it went well. He raced at Donington Park in the Porsche Sprint Challenge GB, which is a proper legit series on a full BTC weekend, and he walked away with 3 podiums. This is big news, I think. I'm going to make it big news in the sim racing show. 2 third places and a second in the RS Pro category, driving a Porsche Cayman GT4 RS ClubSport, which is not exactly a forgiving, easy first car situation. Now, this whole campaign is backed by Porsche, and the end goal here is clear. And I've been speaking with the big wigs, with the top people at Porsche about this for years, and it's coming to fruition. So Porsche are using the iRacing-based Porsche Esports Supercup 2026 World Championship as part of a pathway towards a full-time real-world opportunity. So it's not like esports driver gets a day or an afternoon in a car. It's a real pipeline. Now, if you want to know more about this, watch my interview with Porsche Vice President Thomas Laudenbach, who's basically he heads up Porsche Motorsport, where we talk about what this means for sim racing. Is it possible? Are Porsche serious about it or not? Now, on to business. A big piece of business news that could affect hardware pricing and console plans long term, because Asetek's takeover is now fully done. The deal has been rubber stamped and the company is officially owned by Suzhou Shunki Electronic Technology Co., which I think we can just call CQ. The headline most people will care about is continuity. CEO Andre Eriksson is staying on the board. Again, watch my interview with him on this channel, where I asked him about the takeover and what it means for sim racers. And by the way, thanks so much for your support. That by supporting this channel, I can go and interview everyone that we talk about in the sim racing news of the week. It's crazy. You make this possible. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscription button right now. It makes a massive difference, maybe more than you even think. And also share this with your mates, share it on the forums as well. So Andre Eriksson is staying on board, and so it's not like a full cultural reset, or at least it shouldn't be on paper. But the real question going forward is what it's going to mean in practical terms. Because when a sim racing hardware brand gets this kind of backing, the hope is usually you get more scale, better pricing, and faster expansion. Arguably, look at Fanatec, taken over by Corsair, and we talked about at the beginning of the show how the Fanatec Formula ClubSport V3 is quite competitively priced. Now, in Asetek's case, there's another obvious thing people keep asking for, which is broader console support. The expectation now is that with more resource behind them, that becomes a more realistic direction to push into. And I think Asetek are also doing a new bundling configurator where if you bundle items together, you get a discount. And by the way, my general affiliate code Kireth10 at Asetek should give you an additional discount on that. So keep an eye on Asetek pricing. I think they're going to be very aggressive. That's episode 103 of the Sim Racing Show this week. I've been driving my Peugeot RCZ in real life at Brands Hatch. Loads of content to come on that. I'll see you in the next one.